Hi, this is G from Native Speakers Academy, and welcome to 10-Minute English. This is where we introduce short articles from the news for upper intermediate and advanced students. This is B2 and C1 level on the Common European Framework. If you'd like more information about what we do, you can visit our home site, which is www.nsa-slovakia.com, or you can visit our YouTube page, which is Native Speakers Academy, or we have just created a new page under my name, and there are a lot of educational videos. There's a lot of links to useful information. You can explore it, and hopefully you will be surprised in a positive way by what you find there. Also, you might want to check out our Pinterest boards, which are full of useful information about a host of subjects. There are a huge number of resources on the boards that we have there. The largest one at the moment, the Curiosity board, which is activities for families and children. Also growing quite quickly is the language teaching board and the business world board. Language and teaching, 653 pins there. Curiosity board, 817. So there's lots of stuff there for you to explore. Just do it, basically. Right, today's article is not exactly from the news. It's what I think we could describe as good advice. As usual, I have highlighted the vocabulary which should be new in yellow there. We're not going to be able to get through this entire article, but we'll do as much as we can in 10 minutes. And of course I will, as usual, post a link to all the information that is there. A little bit of background. These are some quotes from a Sioux Indian chief by the name of Luther Standing Bear. If you want to read a little bit more about him, then you can visit the Wikipedia page, where, just as a little introduction, we can read together. Luther Standing Bear was an Oglala Lakota chief, notable in American history as a Native American author, educator, philosopher, and actor of the 20th century. Look at that grammar. An native. That should be a native. Anyway, Standing Bear fought to preserve Lakota heritage and sovereignty, and was at the forefront of a progressive movement to change government policy towards Native Americans. Yes, basically, he didn't want his culture to be annihilated. I guess he failed. But a really interesting man to look into. So, let's get into the article. I've shortened the title from the original title because I think this is the real focus. The title here is Question Everything About Our Society. If you are ready, we will begin. Luther Standing Bear was an Oglala Lakota Sioux chief who, among a few rare others such as Charles Eastman, Black Elk, and Gertrude Bonnin, occupied the rift between the way of life of the indigenous people of the Great Plains before and during the arrival and the subsequent spread of the European pioneers. Like his above-mentioned contemporaries, however, his native roots were deep, leaving him in the unique position of being a conduit between cultures. Though his movement through the white man's world was not without success, he had numerous movie roles in Hollywood. His enduring legacy was the protection of the way of life of his people. I wonder why the word however is put in the middle of that sentence. It doesn't really make sense. However would suggest that there are opposites and the first part of the sentence should begin unlike. Yes, let's remove it. Let's edit as we go. There we go. That's obviously a mistake. Like his above-mentioned contemporaries, his native roots were deep. You see? There are mistakes everywhere in everything. By the time of his death, he had published 4 books and had become a leader at the forefront of the progressive movement aimed at preserving Native American heritage and sovereignty. He came to be known as a strong voice in the education of the white man as to the Native American way of life. And we still have so much to learn, and this is exactly why we are looking at this today. So, point 1. Praise, flattery, exaggerated manners, and fine, high-sounding words were no part of Lakota politeness. Excessive manners were put down as insincere, and the constant talker was considered rude and thoughtless. Conversation was never begun at once or in a hurried manner. Things were carefully thought over first. And my personal perspective on this is the more people talk, the more bullshit you have to listen to. Moving on. Children were taught that true politeness was to be defined in actions rather than in words. They were never allowed to pass between the fire and the older person or a visitor, to speak while others were speaking, or to make fun of a crippled or disfigured person. If a child thoughtlessly tried to do so, a parent in a quiet voice immediately set him right. Actions rather than words. What you do is far more important than what you say. Lead by example. Silence was meaningful with the Lakota, and his granting a space of silence before talking was done in the practice of true politeness and regardful of the rule that thought comes before speech, and in the midst of sorrow, sickness, death, and misfortune of any kind, and in the presence of notable and great, silence was the mark of respect. Strict observance of this tenet of good behaviour was the reason, no doubt, for his being given the false characterization by the white man of being a stoic. He has been judged to be dumb, stupid, indifferent, and unfeeling. Perhaps I should have also marked mids. That's an interesting use of language. There. I think that before we talk or speak, we first need to listen. We did not think of the great open plains, the beautiful rolling hills, the winding streams with tangled growth as wild. Only to the white man was nature a wilderness, and only to him was it infested with wild animals and savage people. To us, it was tame. Earth was bountiful, and we were surrounded with the blessings of the great mystery. Yes, what is truly wild? What is really wild? We tend to want to tame everything. Is that such a good idea? I'm not so sure. With all creatures of the earth, sky, and water was a real and active principle. In the animal and bird world, there existed a brotherly feeling that kept the Lakota safe among them. And so close did some of the Lakotas come to their feathered and furried friends that in true brotherhood they spoke a common tongue, the same language. That search to be as one at one. This concept of life and its relations was humanizing and gave to the Lakota an abiding love. It filled his being with the joy and mystery of living, and it gave him reverence for all life. It made a place for things in the scheme of existence with equal importance to all. Equal importance to all. It's a lovely thought. Now, normally I would end, finish, stop, wrap up, draw to a conclusion the presentation. But we're so close to the end that I think I'll run through a few more examples, if that's okay. It was good for the skin to touch the earth, and the old people liked to remove their moccasins and walk with bare feet on the sacred earth. The old Indian still sits upon the earth instead of propping himself up and away from its life-giving forces. For him, to sit or lie upon the ground is to be able to think more deeply and to feel more keenly. He can see more clearly into the mysteries of life and come closer to kinship, to other lives about him. How true that we have lost a connection with the earth, a contact with the earth. We have distanced ourselves from the very thing that has created us, the very place from where we have come. Everything was possessed of personality, only differing from us in form. Knowledge was inherent in all things. The world was a library, and its books were the stones, leaves, grass, brooks, and the birds and animals that shared, alike with us, the storms and blessings of earth. We learned to do what only the student of nature learns, and that was to feel beauty. We never railed at the storms, the furious winds, the biting frosts and snows. To do so intensified human fragility. So whatever came, we adjusted ourselves by more effort and energy if necessary, but without complaint, understanding that learning means extending yourself beyond your comfort zone. It's the great challenge. I think I missed some vocabulary here. We never railed at the storms. That's quite interesting. Biting frosts. Okay, two more. The old Lakota was wise. He knew that a man's heart away from nature becomes hard. He knew that lack of respect for growing living things soon led to a lack of respect for humans, too. So he kept his children close to nature's softening influence, not losing touch. A final thought from the man. Civilization has been thrust upon me, and it has not added one whit, one iota, one piece to my love for truth, honesty, and generosity. Civilization, perhaps, could be seen to be the antithesis of all of those things. So I hope these 10 points, quotes, thoughts, ideas, feelings, principles will help to make you think about what is important in your world. Source: 10 quotes from a Sioux Indian chief that will make you question everything about modern culture. From wisdompills.com. A link to this and anything else relevant will be posted together with this video. If you'd like more information about the problems faced by Luther Standing Bear, his contemporaries, and other people in the sphere of Native American history, I recommend this. Russell Means' documentary entitled Welcome to the Reservation, where Russell Means, a descendant of the native Indian tribes, comments on the history of people and how Americans now are experiencing the same problem that the Indians experienced hundreds of years ago. That's Russell Means' Welcome to the Reservation. And Russell Means was a really interesting character as well. He's dead now, but you can still read a lot of information about him. He was a wise man with a great mind and a lot of very intelligent observations about the way we live our life today. Thank you. That's about all we have time for today. This hopefully will be the last test before we launch properly 10-minute English with daily free sessions. If you've got a topic that you'd like us to cover, let us know and we will try and include that topic just for you. And remember, you can visit our sites on the internet and get lots more information about what we do. You can also join up with us on Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and we're on a host of other social media platforms as well. So that's it. If you really want more information, you can take one of our special one-to-one English language study courses. Just send us an email if you're interested. And I'll tell you what, I'm off to see if I can open some of the windows in the office, because we've had about a meter of snow in the last 6 hours, and the town and the countryside looks like some kind of perfect cake of some kind, I suppose. And then I'm going to have to try and find my car later and dig it out, and oh my god, all these things to do, but who cares? Life goes on. That's it. I wish you a really good day, and I hope to speak to you again soon. Take it easy. Yeah, take it easy, guys. Take it easy.